Okay, you may have heard these called blank journals or naked journals or traveler's notebook journals or junk journals. And this is the way I fill up my traveler's notebook with junk mail, die cuts, and a sticker. I'm going to start with that first. And I put a lot of my magazine and catalog, when I pull images, I store them in couple of these plastic containers, and this is just going through and figuring out which image speaks to me at the moment to make this design and collage. And so now I'm going to fussy cut the image out, and I use fairly sharp scissors. I sometimes will use little scissors. It just depends on how intricate the cutting is. And then I will put the little table on the background, and the paper is scrapbook paper that has some images already there, which is nice. Then I'm not staring at a white piece of paper. On the opposite page there, I stenciled faintly with distress ink just so that it breaks up the page and I'm not staring at a a white piece of paper like, what am I going to do? So I outlined the saying down there at the bottom that I also got from a magazine. Now I'm going to show you my organizer that I make. When I make die cuts, I make a whole bunch and then I store them and label them in these cases. I have a video about that. I got the cases from Michael's. They come in really handy. This is my large sticker organizer. I had a whole bunch of planner stickers in those, flippy binders or whatever they're called, pads, yeah. And I took them out, cut them apart, and put them in this. I have a video of how I made the planner organizer, and that is a journal card that I use the negative space from when I punched out little leaves and I made a frame. So there's that circle die cut now, and I'm just finishing up, and there's one page done. Now here is another one. I have a cover here that I made for my traveler's notebook for the winter. I used scraps of fabric, and I have a video of how I made that, talking about that. Now I'm using a hole punch to get a little bit of a indent or whatever so that I can put the paper closer to the binding, which is just, in this case, it's fabric. I'm using tacky glue this time. Sometimes I'll use a glue stick, sometimes I'll use wet glue. It just depends on, what's there on the desk, I guess. I'm using the Deckle-Edge Scissors, and here's Betty again. I named her Betty. She's so big. I named her Betty. I use her all the time. And these are some planner stickers that I've put into this collage. This is a 2-page spread. And there's that. Now I'm going to show you another page. What will I pick? Which one will I pick? Oh my. Oh my. I think I'll use this one. Now this is another piece of scrapbook paper. Has a nice background. And I'm going to make another 2-page spread here with an outdoor design. I find that I use my journal to dream and plan, or think about decor, how I would want things to be. Plus then I also use it for journaling. And this one I'm going to use it to design an outdoor space to dream about. So as I go along, then you can see that this particular planner is different than the ones that I sell, because those have elastic and it's one piece of paper, and this one I just wanted to use up a whole bunch of scrapbook paper. And so I made a different kind of binder, and now I'm just layering different elements into the picture. There's some pillows to relax against and some candles, and here's a little word So you can find a whole bunch of elements for your pages without really spending anything, because a lot of these catalogs, well, their catalogs were free, and then the magazines that I got, they were free. I got a free subscription, so that was neat to use for my journals, and then I'm not, you know, having to put out a lot of money just to be creative. And there we go. Paradise is personal. And here's another planner sticker, and I like to put the date that I, made the page if I'm not going to journal actually in the page. But this was one of my self-care Sundays, and so I wrote the date down, and that helps me, memory. Here's one planner pad that I got from actually a grocery outlet, so it was really cheap, marked down. And I'm going to use a large sticker here, and then I've got the Deckle-Edge Scissors. If you find these at thrift stores and they're still, open and closed, you can use them in your journaling. You don't have to have a fancy die cut machine or buy fancy, die cuts or whatever. You can make it up as you go. So here I have, on the opposite page, you can see more of the stenciling effect. And then as I go along, I decided I'm just going to use 2 of the cow print. And this was from scrap paper that I cut out the cow print. Here's the planner, and now this is a distress ink. This is regular distress ink, so if water hits it, you can blend it and things like that. And I'm just going to highlight it with some Sharpie, write the date at the top, and yeah, there it is. Just something simple, but it spoke to me at the time. And now I'm going to do another page, which ends up to be another 2-page spread, and that is a project life card. That's another kind of scrapbooking thing. Didn't work for me, but I still kept them and I use them, and here I am journaling that day in the page. And here we go again. This one is, well, some people didn't like this one, but it brought back a memory for me from my childhood with the eyeball soup. My mom and dad made a haunted mansion, or haunted house, I guess is a better term, in our garage one year when I was a kid, and invited the neighborhood kids in, and whoever. And my mom made eyeball soup, which was just a grape or two in some gelatin that wasn't solidified. It was pretty funny. And then I just decided to hide that journaling in the Project Life card, and here I am organizing it with the ribbon. Now this is Distress, excuse me, Distress Archival Ink. It does not run. It's great for stamping because it really picks up the stamp as well. So I think it works better for me than the regular Distress Ink. Here I am putting the date in, and this is just, again, the background helped fill in the gaps and everything, and there's a little, hello fall. Now here's my extra wide spine journal. This is the one that I work in. I have a video of how I made it, and then I used the die cut negative, and that's, so there was a cup, and I just kept the paper that was around the cup when I cut the cup out. And I save a lot of that stuff to use in my creative journaling. And this is a clear stamping block, and this is a stamp, and I use the Archival Distress Ink on there. This is Art Glitter Glue. You may have heard of it, but there's no glitter in the glue. It's very strong, and they don't sell it or ship it in the wintertime, but it's a really good glue. And I'm putting this on a sheet of vellum, which is another type of paper that we use in journaling, junk journaling. Here I am distressing the edges of my sticker, or my stamp, I mean. And these are Tea Bag Ephemera that I made. I have a video about that. And here's some circles that I punched out with that circle punch. And I'm going to rip the scrapbook paper around that stamping image that I have. And then I'm going to use my metal ruler to get it kind of more torn, but not all the, I wanted enough to put behind my stamped image. I wrote the date. This was my first page in my new journal. I put those in there with the dragonflies on the front of the circles and glued down the other elements. And this was made from a punch. There's 2 punches that I used to make the little pull, and I can pull those circles out. So you can just use all kinds of things in your journaling, wherever your creativity and your mind takes you. And all of this was made very inexpensively, but have fun. Thanks for watching. See you soon.